Let me tell you, if you've never come home from deployment to find a birthday party happening in your house the one with your name on the mailbox and your old dog tags in the top drawer, well, you're living the dream, friend. Because when I dropped my bag on the driveway and saw a string of balloons bouncing in the front window, I figured what a neighbor's mistake. Then I saw those names on my mailbox, not mine, and I got this cold electric feeling in my gut. I wasn't even in the door yet, and I could already tell something was way, way off. So picture this. I walk up to my own front porch, and there's a family eating breakfast on the patio set I bought with my first re-enlistment bonus. Not squatters, not burglars, just a regular-looking family dad with the paper mom with the coffee kids running wild in the backyard, acting like I'm the one out of place. You ever had that happen to you? It's like a punch in the chest, but somehow quieter. The woman looks up at me with this vibe like, "Can I help you?" Meanwhile, I'm the one with the keys in my pocket. Right then, out comes Nora Whitman, queen of the HOA, gray hair in a bun, all business, acting like she's running the show, which turns out maybe she was. Now, Nora and I, we've done this dance before, her sending little notes about my trash can placement, me pretending to read them, but this time she has a folder thick enough to choke a mule. Slides me a property management agreement with my signature at the bottom, only it's dated the week I shipped out from Fort Bragg. And I know I didn't sign a damn thing except my deployment papers and a few banking forms. She tells me straight-faced that my attorney authorized the HOA to hand my property over as emergency housing for hurricane victims under FEMA. The family on my porch. They're not trespassers. They're guests in some federal relief program, apparently all buttoned up and above board. And Nora, she's watching me like a hawk, probably waiting to see if I'll explode. I'm staring at that paper, trying to make sense of it when her tone gets even frostier. Your designated attorney handled all the paperwork. Payments have been coming in. Everything's covered. I'm thinking, what attorney? I never hired a civilian for anything but a will. The kid calls out to her from the pool. Yeah, my pool, like they're best buds. And I realize these folks have been living in my place for months. So I ask for the original document with my real signature, not this crummy photocopy. She gives me a look, all polite menace, says it's filed with some federal office, and hands me a business card for a lawyer I've never heard of. Virginia address, supposedly specializing in military affairs. Whole thing stinks of cover-up, but it gets better. She tells me I can't go in my own house to respect resident privacy. You ever hear something so backwards, it makes you laugh out loud? I mean, I'm standing in my driveway looking at the life I built, and now I'm being locked out by disaster relief protocol. What do you even do with that? I'll tell you. I went to the county courthouse. Figured if my name's still on the deed, I've got some ground to stand on. Sure enough, deed's clean, no liens, no official disaster anything. But then the clerk shows me a file of citations, $8,000 in code violations, and liens all racked up during deployment, most for stuff like grass length or unpermitted parking. Either the city's in on this or someone's faking paperwork to cover their tracks. I spent the next few days just watching, sitting across the street in my truck, seeing this family water my plants, adjust my furniture, order pizza with my address like it was always theirs. Every time I tried to press Nora, she had another legalese answer ready. Every time I called that attorney's office, I got voicemail. Started digging, found out the law office is legit, but specializes in this kind of deployment power of attorney whole website filled with testimonials from military families who supposedly volunteered their properties for emergency use. My blood ran cold reading it because there's my situation copy-pasted as a success story, only I never agreed to a damn thing. That's when I called in the cavalry, Derek Lopez, Big G, and Doc Harris. Guys I served with, guys who don't blink when things get weird. We met at the local diner, laid it all out, and right away Lopez points out that the signatures are off enough to trigger fraud statutes if anyone actually looked. Derek finds out the property management company is less than a year old, set up right before my deployment. Big G, always the quiet one, just asks, "So what's the plan?" Let them walk all over you. Doc's already working angles, thinking how to keep things legal but tough. We rolled into the neighborhood like a strike team, not making threats, just standing together, showing everyone, including Nora, that I wasn't alone anymore. Neighbors came out, phones in hand, whispering, but you could feel the shift. Lopez put up a sign, property secured by owner. Nora rolled up, looking rattled, and tried to play it cool, but you could see the panic. The Petersons, the family renting my house, loaded up and left still confused, still holding receipts for whatever scam they got caught in. I almost felt bad for them, almost. Here's the twist Lopez has been documenting. HOA scams for years, says military properties get hit over and over during deployments. Shows me a map, my street lit up like a Christmas tree with red dots for every hit. Systematic targeting, not random. Nora's whole family, it turns out, is in on it. Husband at the assessor's office, sister-in-law running cleaning contracts, nephew handling IT for the HOA's website, a whole cottage industry in exploiting soldiers overseas. Then things went nuclear. My truck vanished, towed for regulation violations, the paperwork all made up. A registered letter demanded $25,000 for damages and unauthorized occupation. City code enforcement, fire marshals, zoning inspectors, one after the next, each with a fresh complaint, all suspiciously filed right after I'd challenged Nora's power. I couldn't take a breath without someone telling me I owed a fee, broke a rule, or needed to leave. But here's where it gets good. We held a backyard property rights info session, invited the whole neighborhood, put up flyers, got all the permits. It turned into a block party. People came out of the woodwork with their own HOA horror stories, garden gnomes, parking tickets, even a local title worker who'd lost her rental property to the same scam. A former vice president of the HOA showed up handshaking and told us about threats and bribes from Nora to sign off on efficiency paperwork. He had emails, screenshots, the works. Suddenly, nobody was scared to speak up anymore. Nora showed up, tried to call the cops for unauthorized assembly, but we were ready. County permits in hand, legal team standing by. One cop, turns out, was an old buddy from Fort Campbell, pulled me aside and said, "Clayton, this isn't normal procedure. You're being targeted." He even gave me his card, told me to keep documenting everything. Meanwhile, Derek's monitoring social media, catches fake community accounts blasting out posts about veteran interference with disaster relief to gin up support for Nora's narrative. Then the federal heat came down. Inspectors showed up taking photos, writing violation notices for things like federal housing program compliance, all completely made up. Lopez's legal aid work got flagged, fake complaints trying to get him fired for helping me. The game was clear now. Paperwork me into submission, swamp me in bureaucracy, and hope I crack. Only we didn't crack. We filed complaints with every federal agency you can name. Documented every phone call, every inspection, every fine. Sunday night, Mike Thompson, my old Army buddy, now turned cop, called and said Nora was calling the feds, claiming our community meetings were anti-government interference and should be surveilled. Tuesday, a fake federal monitoring van rolled up, two men started photographing my house. But they slipped up. Big G recognized one as Tommy Miller, an old contractor buddy. Tommy realized he'd been duped into a scam, walked off the job, and helped expose the operation. And that was it, the dam broke. FBI called, said they'd been tracking a ring targeting deployed military homeowners. My case, it turned out, was the last puzzle piece. They rolled up, raided the HOA, arrested Nora, her family, the fake contractors, and started freezing accounts. News broke, millions stolen, dozens of properties, veterans as targets, restitutions coming. Neighbors, for the first time, elected someone honest to run the HOA. Derek beefed up security for the whole street. Lopez expanded his legal work. Big G started a veteran security service. Doc volunteered for veterans groups. But the best moment, Sunday morning, raising my flag on the porch, that old cloth catching the sun just right, coffee in hand, watching a normal neighborhood wake up. For once, nobody's getting a fake citation, no trucks being towed, no strangers in my house, just kids laughing and neighbors waving. Turns out defending what's yours at home takes the same grit it does overseas. And if they can run scams this big, it's on us to get louder, not smaller. So tell me, what would you have done if this was your front door, ever had to fight for your own property against a system this crooked? Drop your story in the comments, hit the thanks button. If you want more wild rides, and don't forget, sometimes the best defense is knowing you're not alone. Porch lights on, I'm not going anywhere.